I'm still surprised how many fans, and there's a lot of them that don't get the value of Steph Curry. I hear this from old-timers. Oh, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, very physical. I don't know. He's the greatest shooter in the history of basketball. And on a short list of the greatest ball handlers. Call me crazy. Ball handling and shooting. It feels like it matters to me. That's what we worked on at practice, right? That's what they worked on at AAU, and that's what everybody's looking for in the draft, right? Bigs that can handle the ball, bigs that can shoot, guards that can shoot. And if you can't shoot like Russell Westbrook, you're really, really outdated. The game has left you. I hear people, though, say that. Steph Curry in the 80s. Ask yourself this. Who was the greatest forward in the 80s? It was Larry Bird. Why did he separate from all the other forwards? It was because he was the toughest? No, he could handle the ball and shoot. Most forwards were power forwards. They didn't. They were liabilities on the offensive end. You got them for their toughness and their rebounding and their physicality. But Larry Bird could shoot and handle the ball up the floor. Why is Kevin Durant, and I think this is fair, the best player in the league right now? Because he can handle the ball and shoot. Is it because he's the toughest, the most physical, the best rebounder, the best defender? No. So even for bigs, power forwards, centers, Jokic, MVP, why? Best body, physicality? No, he can handle the ball, shoot, and pass. Some things in life are always going to stand the test of time. Punctuality and hard work. There are no industries. You can go Silicon Valley to garbage dumps, to landscaping to Wall Street. Punctuality, show up on time and work hard. Every industry, white collar, blue collar, conservatives, liberals, show up on time, be punctual, reliable, and work hard. Every industry, fashion to drama to art, to acting to whatever, law, hospitals. And there are certain things in sports that will always be important. Let's take baseball. Finding pitchers who can throw the ball past hitters. Not a lot of guys in the first round are knucklers or junk ball pitchers. Can I, in a big spot, I need an out. I throw 98 with movement. I can throw it past the batter. No contact. So I don't have to rely on my defense to make a play, a bad bounce. I'm going to throw it past you. That will always be important. NFL quarterbacks. You can run around all you want. Do you accurately deliver the ball to your wide receivers, tight ends, and backs? That will never go out of style. In an era where everybody's giant and 6'5" and fast, Drew Brees is one of the greats ever. And in basketball, the ability to handle the ball and shoot, it will always matter. I mean, right now, ask yourself this about the tough 80s. Do you know who was the leading scorer in the 80s? Alex English. Wasn't much of a rebounder, not a great defender. Denver Nuggets. Why? He could shoot. 8-time All-Star. And Steph's a better shooter, quicker, maybe a better athlete than Alex English. Those romanticized New York Knicks teams, you know why they never won a title? I mean, how many shooters? But the badass and bad boy Pistons, who played sort of a Knicks style, they like tackling people, they won multiple titles and should have won more. Was it because they were tough? Well, they were tough, and so were the Knicks. But the difference is they had shooters. They're big. Lambeer could shoot, and Isaiah could shoot, and Joe Dumars could shoot, and Vinnie Johnson could shoot. Even John Starks for the Knicks was not a pure shooter, more of an athlete. I saw Phil Jackson last night. I was at a restaurant. He stopped by. We waved. He was talking triangle offense, and I was talking wine. But if you go look at those Bulls teams, and you go look at those Laker teams where he became the winningest modern-day basketball coach, they always had shooters. Paxson, Kerr, Tony Kukoc. Got to put the ball in the basket, folks. Steph is also really smart. And smart people and smart athletes always all do one thing. They tweak, they adjust. You don't think Steph would have adjusted in the 80s to the hand check? I think he would have figured it out. And like other smart people that are really successful, he didn't invent anything. There's very few Elon Musks out there. Even he didn't invent the spaceship. He took advantage of the opportunity. The three-point shot was allowed in 1979. It was there for everybody. Steph's the first one to own it. So just say this out loud if you ask yourself or doubt Steph Curry. If I told you, okay, there's this player. He's one of the smartest players ever, one of the best ball handlers ever. He's an incredible leader. He's the best shooter ever. He's a great teammate. Yeah, I don't think any of that stuff would work in the 80s. It works forever. Steph Curry in any era, hard work, obsessed, great shooter, great leader, great mind, great teammate, great ball handler. Gets along with everybody. Gets along with Draymond Green, the tough guy. Gets along with KD. He did. Gets along with Clay, the quiet guy. If you don't get Clay, if you don't get Steph, you just don't get basketball. So I said this the other day on a show to Joy. I said I have a friend that's kind of on the periphery of the media, but is very, very connected to LA sports. And let's say maybe he's an agent or something. That would count as kind of being part of sports. And this person told me about a week ago, he said Westbrook's going to get traded from the Lakers. They're already discussing it. LeBron's discussing it. The franchise is discussing it. It doesn't work. And so I came into the meeting the other day and I said, guys, I'm going to give you a heads up on something. There's going to be some Westbrook trade rumors that are going to happen the next couple of days. And somebody, I think it was Ryan, said, yeah, the story's actually out. So I thought I was way ahead of everybody. And actually, I basically was announcing it had already been out by some reporters. So this has been in the works for the Lakers for a couple of weeks. And, you know, it takes time for stuff to get out. But there's an article on it today, and this is so classic Westbrook. It says his defensive effort has been disappointing all year, especially joining a culture which is about great defense. The Lakers, he hasn't grown much as a cutter as the Lakers hoped. Like, it would be hard to cut. And despite some early success as a ball screener for James, it's not a job Westbrook has embraced either. Cam Newton and Westbrook always had style, and the media loves style. It doesn't really matter. Stuff goes in style, out of style, it doesn't matter. Both Westbrook and Cam are shot at 33. Steph Curry's 33. He celebrated last night in the NBA. Westbrook, fourth team, 4 years. Cam is 11 years younger than Brady. It's over. Why? Stubborn. An inability to adapt. This is what happens. And it's a cautionary tale outside of sports for all Americans. Many of you have enormous talent, and you'll never live up to your promise because you're unapologetically stubborn. This is who I am. Deal with me. Bruh, that doesn't work much in sports at all. There's one ball and 9 guys on the court on your team, and then 9 guys for them that will play, and it's going very fast, and you got to work well with others. All this stuff they're asking him to do is not difficult. Screen, cut. They're not asking him to be a great three-point shooter. Hey, can you defend a little better? Can you cut? Can you screen? The media loved Cam and Westbrook, and I have compared both of them for years. Lots of talent, lots of promise, never truly realized because the inability to grow. They're not asking Westbrook to do impossible things. It would be unfair to say, Russell, we need you to be a 42% three-point shooter. Well, that's unfair. That's not what he is. Can you cut more? Can you screen more? Can you commit more to the defensive side? Well, we talk about this in sports all the time. You see it in football, a sport where coaching matters. The great ones, the Belichicks and the Sabans, great pivoters, great adapters. We saw it with Harbaugh this year with Michigan. He kind of blew it up and started over, pivoted. Brian Kelly admits 5 years into Notre Dame it wasn't working. He pivots. We see it all the time. It's not just athletes, but in this case, it's Westbrook. This tunnel, this stubborn, this inability to grow and move beyond kind of your brand or your style. And I've said this about LeBron for so long. The game has really moved away from LeBron James. He was never a great three-point shooter. That's not what 6'9", 260-pound guys are. LeBron first was a great ball handler. He became a great defender. He's a great passer. And he has the ability, because he can use either hand very well, to score. He'll be a scorer. But he doesn't have the MJ or the Kobe sort of DNA to attack, take bad shots, doesn't care, burst through a wall. That's not who he is. So about a third the way through LeBron's career, the league became a three-point shooting league. And LeBron just saw it and worked at it. And all of a sudden, 2 or 3 years later, I remember that first, he started doing it in Cleveland before he moved to Miami. It was his last year or two in Cleveland. He really started taking more and more three-point shots. And then in Miami, he became a very good three-point shooter. And now, I mean, I'd make the argument he's the Lakers' best three-point shooter. He's their best ball handler and three-point shooter. One of those is very natural to him. The other one he had to work on. Stubborn, doesn't work. Sports life doesn't work. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.